Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our channel. We're on episode number 70, where we're playing against Firpo from the United States of America. And we're going to the Sicilian. Very cool. I love the Sicilian with this check. He's going to block with the bishop. I'm going to go ahead and take. If he takes with the knight, no worries. I'll just go ahead and castle. Of course, he plays. Okay, he's going to play g6 first. And same idea as last game. We're just going to do the c3, d4 stuff. Let's get this center. But if he's going to attack our pawn, no worries. I just have rook e1 to protect it. Okay. e5. I still have d4. Of course, if he takes, I take back with the pawn. He takes again, and I'd have put my knight in the center. And he has a pretty weak pawn. So I don't expect him to do too many taking. But this much is fine. Cool. Okay. Now we're into a little, like, I guess, out of it. I'm not, it's kind of like slightly unknown territory. It's not completely unfamiliar, but it is slightly different. One thing I was thinking about is taking here. If he takes with the pawn, maybe I can just put my queen up here. But I don't know. It stops it from castling, and then we're adding an attacker to this pawn. I don't know how good that is, though. We could just put like a knight on c3, developing, protect this pawn, attack this, control this square, the basics. But yeah, not exactly sure what else to do. I expect his knight to eventually come to like g6, so he might be going for squares like f4. It's interesting. If I do push this pawn on d5, he's gonna get c5, and that's not good for me at all. So I do not want to do that. But I think knight c3, and then maybe just keep developing. And since he has played g6, we might just trade off our dark square bishop and try to play over here on the other side of the board. But yeah, I think knight c3 for now is absolutely fine. And I expect him to just castle here. No worries. Yep, there it is. Castles is cool. We could go ahead and put a knight, our bishop pinning this queen. Or not pinning this queen, but pinning the knight to the queen. And I think it's a good way to just develop this piece. If we go to e3, for instance, he might have like knight g4 and push me away a little bit. If we do go to g5, I guess he could play h6, and that's also not too great. And h6 at all, again, if he keeps pushing these pawns, it just might not end too well for him. So I could just eventually go back and then play queen d2 or something like that. So I think I'm going to go ahead with this move right here. Whoa, okay. The queen comes out. No more pin. He's unpinned. Yeah, so he no more pin on this knight. So the knight's free to do whatever he wants. He brought his queen out. He's attacking this b2 pawn, which is a little unsafe right now. And of course, our d4 pawn. I'd love to put something just in the center of the board, but I don't see it just yet, because if we do that right now, he's going to take. Doesn't seem too great. If we take here first and then takes with the bishop, I could play this, but again, there's this pawn that's being dropped as well, so I don't know how I feel about it. This pawn is not hanging either, because he still has this knight. But if we do take over here, and he takes back, and then I take over here, I guess he can take with the queen. So if I take here first, if he takes with the bishop, then again, it's a bit of a problem. I guess I can put my knight here, and then we're threatening to take, and then win this pawn. I don't know. Maybe rook b1 is just the best move for now. Or maybe it's just queen d2, but I feel like this queen is going to be on two different sides of the board, and I don't know if I like it like that. Could be a bit overloaded. Too much work for one little queen. I think rook b1 is fine. Rook b1 looks fine. If I play b3, I'm a little scared, because after takes, I take, and then if he moves this knight away somewhere, I guess just not here, because we trapped the piece, but if he moves like this, just somewhere, he could be opening this bishop to a very nice diagonal for himself. So I'm just going to go ahead and play rook b1, getting this rook off this diagonal. Whoa, and we get knight over here, which is very interesting. What's that knight doing? What's that knight doing? I don't know. We could just push him away like this. What if we take over here? we're attacking this knight, but I guess he could just take back with any other piece, like maybe this knight. And if I take over here, he can just take with this knight, and then we have an isolated pawn. I don't know how much I like that. If we do just play h3, though, we're telling this knight to go away, and if he just goes away, I guess we just won some time. So I'll go ahead and play h3, and I don't see any attacks here either just yet. Uh-oh, wait. This could be something. Unless we play knight d5. He did bring this bishop over here, so we couldn't take, because if we take, and then we take here, he has bishop f2 check, which is a fork. But we can just play knight d5. It's an in-between move. It's an in-between move. He went ahead and took here. If I take here, he takes back. I take here. I think I'm doing a little better. I'm attacking a rook, and then, of course, trying to take over here as well. So I'm going to do this. So just a free knight, and I'm trying to just take here. I can take here as well. If he takes back, I take here. He takes back, and I'm over rook. If I take here right now, I guess that's also fine, isn't it? If I take here, he could play this, though. I don't know. I think I'm going to take the rook first. Okay. This is fine. I feel like I'm just up a rook. Yep. Very interesting. He doesn't have this pin, luckily. Very luckily, he does not have that pin right now. And he doesn't have something like this either. But we're up a little bit. If I play here, he takes, I take here. That could be something with like this check as well. But actually, right now, it's just not the best idea. Unless I play rook e5 and then play this. Or I could play rook d1 and then attack this pawn. I think that might be something better. Let's play rook d1, attack this weak pawn. If he puts his rook on f8, it's a little inactive. That's no worries. He's going to take this pawn. I'll go ahead and take this pawn, right? I think I'm fine here. If he texts me here, I do have to go to this square, though, just so he can't do any funny pins. But I think I should be fine. Yep, he's going to do that. If I just bring this back all the way, he does have this move, and it's a bit... Oh, and we got a resignation. Great. He did send me a rematch, but I'm not going to accept it because I want to analyze this game first. It was a little messy, maybe, but just want to make sure that's all good. So let's go ahead into the game review, a short one for today. Okay, and to the analysis tab. Very cool. It looks like we did miss something over here where it was +2. So for sure, good thing that we're going back to analyze this, but I did get a great move, so I'm happy about that. Anyways, into this game, we had the Sicilian defense, and I played bishop b5, which is the Canal attack. Most people will play d4 and enter like an open Sicilian thing, but I prefer not to. But I took over here. This happens. I castle. He plays g6. I'm going to go ahead with my c3 plan. Of course, if you text the pawn, I'll just slide the rook. Keep it safe. No worries. He plays e5, and I'll just go ahead and play for the center. No worries. I play knight c3, which is actually the best move. I felt a little lost there just for a second. But yeah, there's no point in taking here. If we do take here, the best move for him is to take with a knight. So then when we do take back, he just takes back here. And it's okay. Yeah, if he takes with a knight. I guess we'd play knight c3 because at least now he has a isolated pawn. So I don't know how I feel about that for my opponent. But I'd probably just play this move. But maybe queen d6 is a thing where I'm stopping him from castling. Queen b6 is the best move for him. If I take here and the knight takes, I take over. Oh, I don't take over here because if his knight moves somewhere, maybe it's a little messy. If I take here, oh, okay, he just castles apparently, and he's gonna play down a pawn, but the engine finds some way to keep it all safe. So that's interesting. Engine things, you know. Anyways, I would have expected to take with the knight, but then I probably would have just taken back and left him with that. But anyways, I developed, which is the best move, and we keep developing. He plays this. I play rook b2. I didn't even think about rook e2. That's a very interesting move. I think rook b1 is still fine. I mean, it's barely a difference, 0.51 versus 0.67. It's fine. I like just keeping it off this diagonal. So that's fine. He plays knight g4. I apparently should have played knight d5 immediately, but I played h3 first, which is a miss. It's saying that it's like +1 now. So after knight d5, what does my opponent have? I guess queen a5? Attacking this pawn. Apparently we're not supposed to be too afraid of it, though. If we play b... Oh, whoops. If we play b4 and he takes this pawn, we play rook e2, attacking this queen. He only has a few safe squares, I guess. One of which is this move. If he goes there, which I feel like is the most normal move, and I played rook c2, queen goes to b5. We're chasing him around, and we have this fork over here. So we do win material. Finally. Same thing if he goes over here. I can go ahead and... Oh, that just drops a queen, so that doesn't work. But if he goes to a6, I have the fork once again. It's very cool. I didn't analyze this. But so after b4, the best move would not be to take that pawn. But if he just goes queen a3, I guess we take over here. And if this knight takes, we take back. And his knight takes, I guess. And then we should play bishop f6 as an idea. Because if he takes, we have a knight. Very strong knight. Okay. f4. Things are collapsing towards the king side. It's very interesting. But we played h3, which is okay. I mean, we're still in the... We still have an edge. But he plays this move, which is just a blunder because we do have knight d5 attacking the queen. He was hoping that if I take over here, well, then I just take... He takes over here and just kind of draws. Right? After this, I take back. Queen's under check, so he'll back up maybe just to c6. But he's all fine, right? Nothing too bad. Nothing too bad, nothing too risky. Material's all equal. But if we did take over here, that would be a big problem because if bishop takes d4 and things are crashing down on the f2 square. So after something like this, he's starting to take over here, and that would be a fork winning material for him. So apparently the best move would be this, but after this fork, it would be pretty sad. And queen f2 apparently is the best move, and I guess it's also preparing like a knight f6 just so we don't invade too much. But we do have a dark square bishop, and he doesn't have, and he has pretty weak dark squares. He doesn't have a dark square bishop himself, so maybe we would be able to exploit some sort of weaknesses, but it's hard, especially with this knight already guarding the f6 square. Maybe we'd have to get a knight over here and then here. And finally, maybe we could finally have some sort of ideas, but we would be down material. But luckily we have knight d5, and now he's not even threatening to take this anymore. And he has to first respond to the queen f6 threat, and he doesn't have like queen takes f2 because this diagonal is still all blocked up. So it would be really nice if he just didn't have a pawn over here at all. If he was down a pawn, he would be much happier. He could just take over here, check, and he could get away. But nope. He did take knight takes f2, which is excellent. I guess it's the second best move. It would make more sense if he was just saving queen a6, but then I guess I take this knight. So again, it's the same thing where we're just doing better. But he took over here. I take back his queen because I see that after this, I can take a knight, and he can't take a knight. Not only am I taking the knight, I'm still threatening his knight. He's not threatening my knight. And I'm threatening his rook. If his rook tries to come over here, I would just take it with the bishop. So we're doing great. Bishop e3. Apparently, knight takes f8 was the best move. And which is what I did. I was contemplating bishop takes e3 first, but I guess bishop takes e3, and then he still brings this. He gets to bring like a rook over here, so we're not threatening to win a rook. And actually, this piece is trapped. So that's too bad. But we'd still be up in like a knight. But I took over here first, and if he takes back, I take over here, and now we're just up a full rook, which is much better. After that, the game kind of is very easy to end. He played bishop a3 at the very end. I didn't even realize that this was hanging. I'm going to be honest. I didn't even see this. I was about to play rook d5. That's what I was going to play, and that's the second best move. I didn't even see that this was hanging. But maybe that's why my opponent resigned. I did not see it hanging, though, so maybe he still had a little bit of fighting left in him. Because I was going to play rook d5. But his idea is that if I play something like just rook d1, all of a sudden he has bishop c5, and there's a sort of pin. I can play knight d4, which is the best move, because at least I'm blocking this, but it's a little messy. I don't want to put my knight in like a defensive position and my rook's blocked by my own knight. So it's just much better to just play rook d5 in the very beginning. He can't kick out my rook at all. And yeah, but even better than that, of course, would be to just take the free bishop. I think that should be it for this video. We missed knight d5 earlier in the game. Going back a little bit, we weren't able to play knight d5 immediately because of this knight, but after he moves that knight, I should have known because that knight was playing a role. It was playing a big role, not just attacking the pawn, but also defending d5. So we could have jumped into d5 immediately and had a really strong knight. But I missed that, and that's unfortunate, but it's all right. But yeah, I think that's it for this video. So I'll go ahead and call the end over here. And yeah, and I think we're at 2020 rate. That's a pretty cool rating. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.